wise. I live hands my life. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live hands my life. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live hands my life. While we
I stay strong, I stay wise, I gotta keep enhancing my life. Hey everybody, I'm R. Patrice Bryant, and I am the host of While We Wait. Welcome, welcome, welcome Facebook, welcome YouTube, welcome to my podcast listeners. We are so glad you're here. Today is a great day to be alive, and I always say that because with so much going on in the world, I'm very happy to be alive and in good health. All is well. So I'm very, very excited about today. I hope you all enjoyed last week. I had Miss Tina on, and Tina had some very wonderful, interesting information to share with us about planning our future. So I hope you were on, or I hope you'll go back and you will watch the segment from last Thursday. Um, just great information, and I can't wait because Tina will be back on October 7th, and she'll be sharing some more information. And she is Tina, and she talked about the backup plan and just so much information. So we'll definitely be having her back probably more than once, more than twice, because there are things that we really, really need to pay attention to for our lives. So, on today, I'm excited again, as usual, to have a very lovely woman on with me. Today is a segment that showcases the devastation, the loss, the courage, the strength, and the conquering of an incredible woman who turned her pain into passion. Today, we visit the topic on love and loss with Cynthia B. Slaughter. She's a native of Central Florida. Let's take a look at some of the fine art that is the fruit of this devastating time. Give me one moment and I will share with you.
Cynthia Slaughter, a documentary photographer, photographed her home after Hurricane Irma in 2019. Her body of work was taken at her home in Ola Vista, which is a small community right outside of Pine Hills in West Orlando. This exhibition, I thought that it was just very tender. I thought that it was very personal from Cynthia's standpoint to be able to take these photographs and share them with us, the public. I'm sure that we all can relate to what it is like to be in a tragic situation, such as having your home destroyed through a natural disaster and not knowing exactly what you're going to do. So, for Cynthia, as a photographer, to take the photos in that moment and decide to share them with the public, I commend her greatly. So, a few of my favorites is definitely this one, Trust in the Midst of. And this just says it all. Basically, what we have here is a rocking chair with the word trust, and you can see a lot of rubble around the chair, a broken vase, it looks like. You can see where the floor is actually ripped up. So for her to capture in this moment again, trust in the midst of everything at a time when everything looks so uncertain, I think this is very important. I think this one has a lot of relative meaning.
All right. All right, there we go. So that was just a quick look. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome everyone. I just wanted to show just a few pieces, and we'll definitely go back to them and show some more. But I wanted to fast forward you from the devastation to the fruit. And now I'll bring on Cynthia B. Slaughter, and we will talk to her about how she got from one place to the other. So, without further ado, Miss Cynthia, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining me on today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. When I got an opportunity to look at your documentary and to look at what you had done, I was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And it just reinforces a saying that I've been saying now for the last few weeks, and that is make your hell pay you.
Yeah,
So, because times can be devastating and can happen so very quickly without permission.
yes,
So, Cynthia, give us an idea of that day during Hurricane Irma. What was going on? And I am going to show a little bit of that, but what was going on that day in
well,
your
it was
home?
a Sunday, and because the weather was going to be bad, they, did the forecast. So we were preparing, we had our waters and lots of ice and, just watching football. And mid-evening, the power just started flickering. And we were right in the middle of a Green Bay Packers game, and that's my son and daughter's like favorite team. And then
Okay.
after the power being intermittent, it just completely went out. So it's like, okay, there goes everything. So we just kind of sat around and we just watched the weather just slowly just deteriorate. So it just went from, okay, we lost the game to, wow, look at the weather.
Wow.
So
So,
it really got bad.
so you knew it was a storm, but you had no idea that it would do what it did, pretty much.
Right. Because we've
Wow.
had hurricanes before, like Hurricane Charlie, and there were three hurricanes in a row, like every 2 weeks of years prior. And we had a little bit of street flooding, but it was gone within a few hours, but nothing like what we saw and
Wow.
experienced.
Wow. So, everyone, we have on Cynthia B. Slaughter on today. To my podcast listeners, Cynthia is a photographer and she has a documentary that was put in was it a gallery for exhibition? Um,
Yes. Yes. Well, actually, it started, I had a class. I'm a emerging artist at Creole Day School of Art in Winter Park, Florida. So
okay.
for one of my class assignments, the class was called Telling Stories with Pictures.
Okay.
So I started trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I previously done one a few years ago on chaplains because I was interested in what chaplains do. So
Mhm.
I had an idea of how to tell the story, but this one was really different. So
Okay.
with this documentary, this story, and the pictures of my mom, I go and I visit her, at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I just sit and just document her day. So I
Mhm.
have my camera, and it's like, hmm, let me take a picture, and you know, so that's how the two documentary stories merged into from um, on broken pieces,
Mhm.
the ones from my devastated home and my mom. So, and that's how we came up with On Love and Loss. And the
I got you.
documentary was last September, September of 2020.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
I will do is I will post the entire documentary on my While We Wait page so people can enjoy it. Um, I want to go and show. I'm going to go past your mom, and I want to go to the piece where you're actually walking around and you're talking about different things that was going on or that had happened um, with the hurricane. So
Okay.
let's see if I can successfully get us over there. And welcome again, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
On broken pieces. My sister and I were gathering up the items for storage. As she turned, she accidentally knocked over a vase. When it hit the driveway, It broke into pieces. She apologized. With a smile, I said, "It's okay. I'll figure out how to photograph it." For a fleeting moment, I was thinking like a photographer and not a devastated homeowner. I started to allow my emotions to surface, and the feeling of brokenness was the first emotion I felt. It all started on September 10th, 2017, when Hurricane Irma came through Central Florida and caused a life-changing event for my family. We were watching the Green Bay Packers game, and the power would intermittently flicker until it went completely out. During the night, as we heard the sound of strong wind and rain, it was worse than we thought it would be. We noticed the water covering the floor in our family room and immediately started checking the rest of the house. Being concerned, we called Orange County Services. Their advice: if you feel your life is in danger, call 911. The 911 operator indicated that emergency personnel would be dispatched to us when weather permitted. The Florida National Guard evacuated my family and I at 6:30 a.m. on September 11th, each of us carrying a small duffel bag as we walked through waist-deep water.
So I want to stop right there. You said waist deep water. Hold on.
Yes.
So after talking to you, we actually had a conversation about this, and I told you, and I've seen you since then. I remember the storm, but I had no idea that you got it like that. And then
Mhm.
after going through all of the devastation, and I know they just said it on your documentary, but tell us when you became concerned um, with the storm.
Um, we we never slept. Well, I didn't sleep because I the wind was so strong, and we have oak trees around, and it was just like really, really. It was a different type of storm, but I didn't think anything. So we, of course, the air was out, the wind because of the power. So my son came and knocked on our bedroom door, because he was in the other part of the house, and he said, "Dad, I think you need to add more sandbags to the front door." So then, of course, nosy me, I jump up behind them, and I had my cell phone. So he opened the side door and we went out, and there's water. And I'm thinking, okay, so where'd this come from?
Mhm.
So I took a picture, of course, just because. And they added more sandbags to the front door. So I remember calling my sister, and she's like, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." So I'm thinking, all right, there was quite a distance from, it was under my tires in the driveway. So there's a step up, and then you have to step up to come into the front door.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, okay. So maybe a half hour later, he comes through and he said, "There's water in the den." So at this point, there's water coming into the house, just every room, just slowly creeping in. And I remember opening the glass door going into my office, where my studio, and the power was out, but we still had like a backup. So the alarm went off. I run and turn off the alarm, come back, and I go in, and then there's water just coming,
Oh my
and I'm
goodness.
still trying to figure out where is it coming from. I knew the rain was really hard, but I still couldn't fathom. So I found a ruler, and at this point, there's already 4 inches of water in
Oh.
that particular room, which was seeping over it into the living room. So this was probably like 3 a.m. in the morning,
Mhm.
and it was just
Wow.
just it was everywhere. So we're taking out all the linen out of the closets, putting down on the floor, because one little mop wasn't going to get all that up.
Right.
So yeah.
So you're doing this, but you're thinking that, let's do this, and you know, we might have to leave, but we're coming back home to clean
No, I
up.
never thought about we have to leave. That never
At
crossed
that
my
point,
mind
wow. Okay.
until I was going back down the hallway, and I could hear the sloshing on the floor. So at this point, it's coming from, it's everywhere. So it's come through the bedrooms, and now it's coming into the hallway. So then that's when I really, really got alarmed.
Okay. So you said you had to go through, is the word slosh?
Yeah, it was like when you're walking through puddles, and because I had tennis shoes on at this point. So I'm hearing the sloshing sound of the water under my feet.
And you said it was waist deep.
Well, the waist deep part, after at this point is when we called Orange County Services,
Okay.
and they advised us to call 911. And they said, well, we'll send somebody when weather permits. So I'm thinking, okay.
Oh
So I had my
no.
little go bag ready, and I had, important papers that I was remembering. And my sister Regina was coaching me on, okay, you got to pack this. In the event you have to leave. So about 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30, we hear this loud engine outside, and it's pitch black and we can't see anything. And then they were shining the big light, and they identified themselves as National Guard.
And
So this
you
is when,
mentioned you mentioned gators.
yes, well,
Wait a
my
minute.
nephew would go fishing, because there was a pond across, like a lake down at the end of the street, and he would go fishing. And I remember him telling me, Auntie, there's a gator down there. So when they actually had us to come out, he said to shuffle your feet on the ground so you'll feel yourself. And from my back door to the street, the water went from my knees to above my waist. And
Wow.
all I'm thinking about is, where's the gator? I remember Paris told me there was a gator. Then the
Wow.
neighbor's screaming, and it's still raining. It's still raining. And then you see your neighbors on this huge vehicle. I mean, you see it on TV,
Yeah.
and you think,
But
and
you
my
lived
thought
it.
was, this is Central Florida. This doesn't happen here.
Wow. 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 Incredible. Incredible. But making it through all of this,
Hmm.
and you talked in the documentary about all of the emotions that you felt, and you were able to express that. So by the way, Cynthia is also a photographer, with an eye for you.
Yes.
That's the name of her photography business. But you talked about how you were able to basically channel those emotions and express yourself through photography. Talk to us about that. What are, I can't even imagine, but what did you feel?
Um, I was I was sad, and I was thinking, okay, well, I don't get it. I'm really not understanding. Um, we had a lot of volunteers that helped us to empty our home, and we lived there 30 years.
Wow.
So to imagine 30 years of your life on your lawn, because everything is wet, and
Yeah.
FEMA says your house is deemed unlivable. You cannot live here. So they had taken everything out. I'm standing on the lawn, and my sister's helping us. And I had this vase. I got it as a gift when I worked in the corporate world from a secret pal. And she turned around and she accidentally bumped it, and it fell on the driveway, and it just shattered. And she just kind of panicked. And I said, it's okay. It's in. And immediately I remember I was in tears, and then I stopped and I thought, oh, it's okay. I'll figure out how to photograph it.
Hmm.
So
So
I remember going from that devastated homeowner to, let me see what I can do with this photograph, with this vase, because photography brings me joy. It
okay.
helps me to relax, and it takes me to a place sometimes of, I'm a woman of faith and worship. So it
Hmm.
takes me to a place of worship. There were days that I would go to the house and I couldn't go in because of the sadness of, the memories were wonderful that we made in the home, but
Hmm.
you're standing in an empty house with mold halfway up the wall, and then you walk through a room and there are no blinds or shears, and then you look and say, Lord, was the light always this beautiful shining on this wall? So
Wow.
I had my camera,
Mhm.
and then I would just sit and I just photograph something.
So this
And
this is the piece. This is the vase that fell.
yes,
Okay. So this is one of Cynthia's pieces that was on display at the gallery. So I just wanted to show that, and all of these will be posted on While We Wait. These are fine art pieces that Cynthia photographed, and it has lots of meaning behind it. So this is just one of them, and I will show a few more. Um, so I'm going to allow you to narrate what we're looking at.
this is the our side door or back door. And this is the door that when the National Guard knocked and they said, open the door and come out. When I opened the door, the water just came gushing in. I panicked and I shut the door back.
Hmm.
Once everything was clean and they were starting to take the walls down, I opened the door to go in one day and I thought, wow, look at the light. So I just stood back and I took several different angles, shots of the angle. And I really liked this particular composition.
And it just made me think about. I'm processing a lot as we're going, but you mentioned that after going through this, then you were told almost immediately that your insurance would not cover it because it was a flood. So it was kind of a on a technicality. They were working against you as
Yes,
flood as opposed to water.
yes, because our area is not a flood zone.
Mhm.
It was not a flood zone, and there was a clause that said surface water,
Mm.
and that was our battle because our council asked the question, well, when rain falls from the sky, where is it supposed to go? Has to hit the surface.
Yeah.
So that was an uphill battle, and we we conquered.
So glad.
um yeah,
So
through
glad.
prayer and just consistency, because I think they really thought that we would just give up and say,
Sure.
okay, just forget it.
That's
But
30 years of
yeah,
life. Oh no. Come
yes,
on.
yes.
I know, they say we made it on broken pieces. I'm just, so what is this that we're looking at?
That's 30 years of my life on my lawn.
My goodness.
Everything I owned. The truck in the back, um, some of the volunteers were from a local bank here called BB&T,
Hmm.
and this the owner of the truck is a customer of the bank, and he heard about what they were doing and he volunteered. So we were thinking, or the county was going to come by and pick it up. So the CEO of the bank came by that day, and he
Hmm.
said, no, we're not going to let this sit on your lawn for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we have this company. So they, by the end of the day, everything was gone, which was emotional in itself, because you
Sure.
see this big truck picking up everything and putting it in the dumpster to just take away.
Wow.
It was a blessing for them to remove it for us,
Hmm.
but it was emotional. Excuse me, it was emotional to see it go.
I'm certain of it.
But it was damaged. So, and then my husband has issues with asthma sometimes when seasons change. So it would have it bothered him, and he couldn't go in the house.
Yeah.
There was an image I had of him to stand at the door. So I said, okay, honey, hold your breath really quick. Let me take a couple of shots.
Sure.
And because of the asthma, standing
Right.
in the driveway, you could smell the mold
Yes, I can.
from the
Yeah.
water. Just
Yeah.
in the driveway with the door open, you could. It was bad.
Wow.
So I understand what the people in New Orleans and Mississippi are going through, and they've been in
Mhm.
my prayers.
Yes.
There was more water, but the emotions are the same. The
Yes.
feelings are the
Absolutely.
same. The
Absolutely. Loss is
devastation is the
loss.
same. Yeah,
Loss is
it's loss.
loss. Grief
Yes,
is grief.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
And what are we looking at here?
This was a chair that my sister-in-law had given to my son and daughter for their little godchild. And the night of the storm, it was in this particular room. We went back maybe a couple days later, and the water had already caused the mold to eat away at the chair, and the chair just started falling apart. So when the guys were taking down the wall, the drywall that day, I just saw the debris in the floor. So I took the part of it is staged. The piece that staged is the vase. So I
Okay.
placed the vase there. All the other debris was there
Mhm.
around the chair. So I just sat on a crate and I looked at it and I just kind of figured out my composition and I took the photo. And it to me it was like trust in the midst of everything. I
Yes.
have to trust in
And
the midst of
the
everything,
trust was
of
still
all the
standing
yes, yes.
in, in the midst of all of that.
And
I get it. I
and I
get it.
couldn't throw it away, so we just left it on the front porch. And
Okay.
there's a member of our congregation that does lawns.
Mhm.
So he knew a restorer. I didn't even notice that the chair was gone. So he went by my husband's job and he had the chair restored.
Wow, so nice.
So the chair has been restored. They
Oh,
they did
wonderful.
whatever they did and restored the chair.
Very nice. And we have one more piece to show at this time. And that is you. And let's talk about that. What's going on in there?
This was the entryway to my kitchen, and the picture on the wall is the Lord's Prayer.
Mm,
And I just thought, Lord, I have to depend on you,
yeah.
even though I have my sad times, my times of I still don't get this,
Yeah.
but I know it's going to work. So I had my camera on my tripod
Mhm.
and I set the timer and I just kind of took a deep breath. And before I knew it, I dropped my head and the shutter went off and it captured this one.
And even though it was you taking the picture, uh, what's captivated there, like I can see your emotion and your expressions. There's just a lot. You can tell there's a lot going on in there. Definitely a whole lot. I just think it's amazing that you were able to. I mean, we all have different vices, but when you have a healthy vice, that
Yes.
always helps. So I'm very happy to have you on as my guest and to display just a few of the items that you have, and I will certainly also place them on my While We Wait page. And I just wanted to put Cynthia's number up. She has more. I will also display more. But if you're interested in any of her fine art pieces, and she does have more,
Yes.
this is the number that you can reach her at. All this information will be on my While We Wait page as well. And I just think it's amazing when you can, again, make that hell pay you. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't point your finger at anybody, but it's
Right.
like, I didn't like any of it, but I conquered. I made it through. So it's just like they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So you
Yes.
definitely made some really good lemonade.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Some really, really good lemonade. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I am so happy that you and your family are well and that you all are thriving. And
Yes.
it's, I'm amazed. I just didn't know. I can remember when we were on Facebook and everybody was checking on everybody, but I
Uh-huh.
just did not know the extent of
Yes.
what had happened with you. But I'm glad that you're well, and
Thank
um,
you.
I'm glad that your business is thriving, and I will certainly continue to support you if you are interested. Again, this is Cynthia B. Slaughter, and I'll say the number for my podcast listeners. The phone number is 321-344-0419. If you are interested in, for my podcast listeners, if you're interested in viewing any of these pieces, well, you can call her, but you can also go on YouTube and look up Cynthia B. Slaughter documentary. Hold on one sec. On Love and Loss exhibition tour. So if you get the Cynthia B. Slaughter part, you will definitely bump into it. And that is for my podcast listeners. For my YouTube and Facebook viewers, again, you can go on YouTube to watch the entire documentary. I will post it on While We Wait. And you can contact her if you're interested in these pieces or seeing other pieces. And I believe you said that the first piece to go, Cynthia, was it the rocking
The,
chair?
the rocking chair, yes.
Oh
Yes.
man, I'm working to see if I can get back there again. Tell you, flying solo is. uh, so this is the piece that sold quickly.
Yes.
So thank
Says
you
a
so
lot.
much. Yeah.
It says a lot.
Yeah. Well, guys, that is it for today. I'm super happy that Cynthia came and you shared this time with me. I will be promoting you. Hold on a second. I'm just looking at comments. The comment says, "We purchased two pieces. Please support this artist." Please support this artist, Cynthia B. Slaughter. That's 321-344-0419.
Yes.
She has some beautiful pieces, and I didn't display all of them, but you can certainly reach her and she will show you what she has. So let's support new artists. I love supporting people and promoting people. So again,
Yes.
Cynthia, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you came on and you were able to go from your pain to your passion, and you are working it and you're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Patrice. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
You're so very welcome. And we'll talk again really soon.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. So, guys, there you have it, Mrs. Cynthia B. Slaughter. She has her own photography business, and Eye for You. Her documentary and these pieces are under Cynthia B. Slaughter. She can be reached at 321-344-0419. If you're interested in any of these pieces, please contact her and let her know that you are interested in seeing what we showed here or the other items that she has, and I'm certain you'll be very happy with it. I think she's done a magnificent job. So, guys, there you have it. I will promote anybody who's doing something great, but I love it when it has a wonderful story behind it. To be able to go from a devastating time, turn it around, and do something with it that is in art form. I mean, it's the same thing that singers and musicians do. It's just a different form of art. So I absolutely love it. I'm so glad you're here. Please meet me back here on next Thursday at 4:30 while we wait. We'll be here Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking for you. Remember, be strong, be wise, keep enhancing your life because life is worth living while we wait. You guys are amazing. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. And thank you to all of my podcast listeners. You guys are great. Good seeing you on, Miss Regina Butler Taylor. I love you so much. Kisses, kisses. See you next time, guys. Love you.
I stay wise. I let hang with my eyes. I stay strong. I stay wise. I let hands